My mother beat with anything she could find. Shoes, bed. Does this sound like you? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever it is you over a 10-day series on the discipline, how to actually create and understand the right way to discipline boys. Yeah, so how are you doing? How are my boys doing? Welcome home. We're here for another honest heart-to-heart conversations. Yeah, so basically today we're going to be talking about how to break those generational patterns, those things that happened. And you know how we were talking yesterday, how we believe, we turned out all right. We have jobs, we are at least we didn't end up in prisons, we're earning, we're responsible members of the society. Nobody is locking us behind bars for embezzlement or anything. So we feel we're okay, right? And it has a way of actually deceiving us. Somehow we feel we're okay till and until we're able to, when we start to have kids, and that's when we see the reality of our situation. Because kids, what kids do, I feel for me, and it's because I understand better now, I believe kids are a way, God's way of giving you a second chance to do things right. Honestly, that's what they are. But in the beginning, if you don't understand, you will see them, because kids are a mirror. They're a mirror to who it is that you are. Whatever it is your child is today is a mirror to who it is that you are. Honestly, whether it's going to be difficult for someone to chew and swallow, but that's the honest truth. And so we are in that place where we're thinking, oh, because I have a good job, oh, because I'm running in a very good business, and I have this and I have that and I have, most times it's the haves, right? Because I have this and I have that, because I'm able to, okay, at least, I say my 5 daily prayers. For those of us that are Muslims, I go to church. For those who are Christians and all of that, it's because of that I'm fine. I'm doing very okay. And we're very bold and proud to say that. But yet, why is my son giving me a headache? Why do I constantly keep shouting and yelling? You can't relate the two. And this is why I'm here to help you constantly, to help you see the connection between both. Basically, today we're going to be looking at how to break those chains, how to break those patterns, how to say, I'm going to be this stops with me, this ends with me. I'm going to be the last person that has to go through all of this. And I do not want my children to have to go through this, because parenting literally is like, it's like a battle. And wherever it is, your fight stops. Your child will have to pick up from there. So the hard work you refuse to do, you're only giving your children work to do when it's their own time. So yes, basically you tell yourself that, okay, oh, your mom did all of these things, the things, hitting me with anything, frying pan, I hope nobody was hit with, a mortar and pestle. But I know people went through a lot, really, growing up. Your mom was hit, you were hit with all of that, and you're doing fine, like we said earlier, right? And so, but you find that that is affecting how you're parenting. Like, can you take a moment and see how you lose your calm the moment your child makes a mistake? You're constantly yelling. Mornings are mornings are terrible, where you're constantly shouting and telling them what to do, and you're not doing this and you're not doing that. And sometimes, a lot of times, your kids get to cry to go to school, and the whole house is just chaos. And the truth is, sometimes you find that you're resenting your children, because when you think of your children, you don't think, happy. You don't think, yes, they are God's gift to you, but you think stress, you think exhaustion, you think this is too much for me. That then a part of you starts to resent them. Can you see? So this is why I want you to understand that it is still tied to the upbringing you had. It is still tied to your own parenting. It's still tied to how you were parented, as a child. Because for the boys, you would hear, so for the boys, their moms would say something like, no, you're not a girl, why should you be crying? You're a man, you need to man up and face this problem head on. You don't go complaining, because you're not a girl. And they heard, or most of them actually saw the same things in their dad, where their dad's not only weren't able to express their emotions. So basically, they didn't. Some of them necessarily didn't say it that you're not. Why are you crying? Because a lot of us, many of our fathers, they weren't even the type that would talk. They didn't used to talk. It was the mothers that were constantly talking. So for a lot of us, our fathers didn't used to say anything. But you will see that their emotions, they never showed it. Everything was just sitting in there. You never knew when your dad was struggling with anything. Nobody ever, it was all spoken hush hush in the bedroom or with his friends or in a sitting room. He never got to enter when they had visitors. So there were those things. There was just so much that was kept away from us. And even when it was shown to us, it wasn't the right thing that was mirrored and modeled to us. And so because of that, we're able to see that our parents didn't teach us how to, control our emotions, how to handle problems, how to I think for girls it was even different because okay, you get to go to the market with your mother, you see her bargaining, you go with her to visit a relative, you listen to their conversations. It was some form of schooling was happening there. It was not necessarily the right way, because even now that we say, girls are all of that and so much more. I see the gaps. I see where it is that we still have a lot of work to do in our parenting with parenting girls, especially when it comes to building a girl to see herself beyond just a particular thing that they're meant to do, or telling a girl that she cannot have it all. It's only one thing she can do. All of those things we're already cutting short the life, span of the girl child even before. Yet we think, oh, at least we're the most educated generation and we feel so empowered. But are we really empowered? Or have we been it's almost like everything is coming but in a different light. And then for the men and the boys in particular, those are the ones my heart go out to, because they don't even have, very few of them have role models that they can look up to. At least the girl has the mom in the home who is trying and all of that, she sees the effort. But for a lot of men who have given up on themselves, these boys, who are they supposed to look up to? A lot of men don't show their emotions, they don't even know how to handle their emotions. They are in the house and it's all screams and shouts and everything. They don't even know how to connect with their children, because it was the same thing that was done to them. The screaming, the shouting, the keep quiet, you're a boy, keep quiet, you're not a girl, stop crying like a child, stop sounding frustrated, you're going to have a family someday. And then we said all of these things and nobody actually taught him how to sit down and handle solutions. Problem solving is a skill. Being able to regulate your emotions is a skill. Our parents did it in the best way they knew how. A lot of it, there were errors, but the ability to sit down and look at yourself and sit with yourself and say, okay, now I have this is the gap in my life. How am I supposed to fill it up such that my children don't come and it's the same thing that is happening with them? So I hope you get it. I hope you understand. I hope because it was literally kind of like something similar we spoke about yesterday, but just in a different light. And I'm saying it again because it cannot emphasize the importance of doing this work, or the importance of recognizing the gaps in your journey, recognizing the gaps from your upbringing, recognizing the gaps from your childhood. It is only then that you can, move forward. It's only then that you can thrive. It's only then that you can say, no, I do not want this. You actually itemize. It's called mapping. You actually itemize it. I do not want this, and this that I have seen happen to me, happen to my siblings, happen to, our cousins, happen to my parents. I do not want it to happen to my children. But what we do is that we just say, oh no, it's predestined. This thing, it's kadara, it's it's the kadar of Allah, and it's predestined, and there was nothing anybody could have done about it. It's such a lazy way to think. While there's a place for predestination, and I pay utmost respect and I believe it sincerely, 100%, but there's also a place for, did you do what you needed to do? Did the people in our lives do what they needed to do? Did they teach us? Did they equip us with the skills and strategies? Okay, this is when you are in a situation like this is what you do. If someone comes to meet you and person is being mean to you in class, this is what you say. This is who you go to. This is even how to choose the friends you choose. See, everything that you want your child to become, you, the parent, are going to be the one to teach it. You do not give it to the school. Like I said, I think that was 2 days ago. You do not give it to the ustaz or the Islamia teacher. You do not give it to your pastor. You do not give it to anyone. It is you and it is your responsibility. And so why do we think that these things are just going to fall upon these children? That's not how it works. So yes, basically, there's this boy code that our men in particular grew up, and it's even now. You're even seeing it even now. You see now that boys are very awkward in social situations. They find it very difficult to hold conversations. They just want to be left alone. All of these things are signs of trauma, and it's a trauma that happened to us. It's a trauma that happened to their fathers that is happening all over again. And this is why we're saying that can we move out of that place where we are thinking that everything is okay, thinking that can we get them to teach them to start to interact, teach them to start to understand what it is that they need to be able to thrive long after you're gone. Because you're here as the parents, they're protecting them, providing for them. Do you think of a time when you will not be here? How will they cope? How will they handle themselves? How will they handle their relationships? How will they handle, their finances? Are you thinking of that already? Because in parenting, you should take every day like it's your last. Honestly, if you do, you will sit up and you will do the work. Because who actually is guaranteed tomorrow? But we feel sometimes like we're going to live forever for our children, that we do not think it's paramount for us to sit them down and teach them things. So this is why I'm calling on you today that say we need to sit down and teach our children things, because we can't continue to do things the same way and expect different results, right? So when we say that boys don't need emotional support, we literally rob them of their humanity. When we say that boys don't need to be taught anything, they'll be fine. They are boys. Boys are always fine. Who told us that? That lie is such a big one. I do not know where it's coming from, but it's a very terrible one. Who told us that when you don't teach a boy any skill, he's just going to automatically know it. Like boys were differently created. They were created already formed and already made. And that's why a lot of us are struggling with our men today. And we should take that and say, no, I'm not going to allow that to happen to my son. So I'm going to sit him down. So I'm going to not pour all of your burden on him. No, because a lot of mothers, that's what they do. Mothers, I'm coming for you now. The tables have been turned and it is your turn now. So what you do is you take that child who God has blessed you with, and who you feel should be a replacement for your husband, that you want to be a certain way and he's not that way. And then you pour all of the burden onto this small boy who doesn't even know how to, he's not, that's beyond his years. That's beyond his age. That's something too much for a child to handle. And then we go on and on and on. Report your father, report this, report that, all of your struggles, they are all on this boy. And you're literally damaging him before he's even given a chance to live his life. So mothers, can you see where we get it wrong ourselves? There's a lot that has to do, because I hear a lot of people, oh, I'm complaining, the men, the men, the men. And then I sit and I ask, well, who are the people training these men in the house? Who are the people that spend more time with these men? Can you see where we need to introspect and say, okay, I think there's something that I need to do differently. There's something I need to do differently, because it's okay to complain. You can even get people, you'll be able to even form a complaint party and sit down and have fun and take a lot of small chops and zobo while you're at your party. But when you're done and you stand up, is there a way to solve that problem? Or are you just romancing the problem? Are you just, massaging the problem and just having a good time with it? So these are the things that we're trying to get you to understand, that see, when you come to our workshop, we go down to the basics. We're going to help you to identify, you will list it yourself, those things that were done to you, because you go and get back in touch with your inner child. You're going to get back in touch with your inner child. You're going to see yourself like that, as that little girl who never felt like she was good enough, who was very bubbly at some point, and after some time she just found that she withdrew. She just found out that she became very shy, she became very self-conscious, and then all of a sudden now she's telling herself that the fact that I don't, I'm shy, I'm a very private person, I'm a very I'm a very private person. I do not like people in my personal space. These are not good things. No, these are not good things. These are not things that you actually should say. These are things that are not okay. So, but till you realize, do you think it's a problem? But the thing with us is we do not accept something is a problem till it affects our finances. For a lot of us, yes, because we have been made, everything has been materialized in the society, has materialized every single thing. So it's like it's just what you have that determines how well you're doing. Nobody cares about what's going on inside of you, what's going on when you actually lie your head to sleep in the night. And honestly, some people do not sleep. Some people are constantly in a state of anxiety. And yet we say we're okay. Yet we say we're fine and we don't need to do anything. And our children are going to be fine. After all, nobody taught us parenting. Can you see where the link is? Can you see where the problem is? And so I'm also here to tell you that because for a lot of us too, the littlest, what's it called? The littlest cry or concern or complaint from our child from our children get us all triggered, and then, well, will you stop crying, why are you crying, and all of those things happen to us because there's a problem somewhere. There's a problem when your child is crying and you're getting all flustered and you're getting in short, let me give you something to cry about. Let me give you a death slap so you actually say that, okay, if they ask you that who beat you, you say, yes, it's my mother that beats me. Can you see how these things happen? Can you see that we do these things and we think it's normal? Oh, because there's no police. We're here in Nigeria where nobody comes. Nobody really comes to check how you're doing with your children. But in Western countries, they have things like social security. They come and then they pick up your child, and social services, they come to pick up your child and they're gone with him. And then you have to go through a whole lot of process to see that your child gets released to you. And so and even statistics have shown that a lot of blacks and Nigerians too suffer from this, because of this knowledge gap that they have. They think when they go there, it's business as usual. And then they get, gobsmacked when there's something happening and someone is saying, okay, your child came to report on it, a neighbor came to report that you're constantly shouting at your child and you're constantly yelling. And that brings us back to what we were talking about yesterday when we said that we're raised to be hypocritical. We're raised to only see, it's only when there's a carrot or a stick, that's when we respond. It's only when there's a punishment or there's a reward, that's when we respond. And we're doing the same things to our children where we're not sitting down to teach them, to explain to them that this is the why. This is why I'm asking you to do this. This is why. But then I ask again, do we even know why ourselves? Or we're just doing it and being on autopilot and just doing the same things our parents are doing, and we're recycling it till you understand your why, till you're able to sit down and teach your children their why, till you're able to sit down and say, okay, these are the values, these are the things that mean a lot to us in our family. And then you in particular as a child, because every child is different, and even though you have three brothers or even though you have two sisters, and there is still something that is peculiar to you, there's still something that God has put inside of you, and it's only you. Do you understand? So you're going to help to, first of all, the child starts to feel so special. I'm putting together a journal for children. And it's so beautiful where, just the questions, just the way you interact with your child every day, the child is already beginning to feel special. The child it's is seeing himself differently. He's saying that you're not just talking to him about something he's not doing right, about the complaints, about something. You're actually seeing something good in him. And these children pay attention. These children listen. These children internalize. And remember, yesterday we said that whatever I say to your child today will become their inner voice tomorrow. So what are you saying to your child today? Or you're just, oh, my mother hits me and I'm going to hit you because that's why I am responsible today, because my mother beat me. She beat the life out of me. Are you really so responsibility? Is it by okay, I have a good job that I can maintain, and I have this business that I'm running, or I'm a PhD holder and this and that? Is that all there is to life? Or are you really living at your highest potential? Are you really living at the potential, living out your potential, what God has really fulfilled, wants you to fulfill? Are you living that? So it's the reason I'm asking you, and it's also my call to you to say, please, come in, let's sit down and have these conversations. It will hit you. I'm not even telling you a lie. A lot of the things I say are not really palatable, but I have seen parents struggle. I have seen parents who have struggled and bled on their children, and their children were not even asked to be born. They were not asked to be born into this world. It is our responsibility. Whatever arrows life has thrown at us, including our own childhood, that was filled with errors. Thank God we bless our parents. We thank God for our parents, and we ask that Allah takes care of them and grants them the best. For those of them who are alive, may God keep them in good health and iman, and for those who are gone, may God grant them Jannat al-Firdaus. But there were errors, there were gaps. There were gaps. They did the best with what they knew, what they had, and what they knew. But what do you know now? I will always ask this question: what do you know now? And whatever you know is what you're choosing to know. Whatever you know, it's what you're choosing to know. You actually have a choice to learn more. And so when you're triggered by your child crying and before she cries or he cries, you're there saying, let me sit you down and give you something to cry about. And then you start to hit all over again, or you start to scream over a child that is already screaming. That message, what that is saying is there's a wound inside of you that is not healed yet. And trust me, we're all a work in progress. I said that myself. I did not stand as someone who is fully healed, but I stand as someone who I knew where I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and I have seen, and I'm not even wait till I'm perfect for me to stand and drag everybody to say, hey, let's do this work. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing here. So I'm not saying I don't claim to be perfect, no, but I say that I've seen it, I have practiced it, and I've seen it work. How trauma, no matter how good your intentions are, your unhealed self would damage with your own hands, literally, you will damage whatever it is you're trying to put together to, because of that good intention you have. You will come and use your own hands to literally damage it, but you without even realizing. So that's the sad part, without even realizing. But because we're used to, the only sicknesses we should treat are the ones like diabetes, malaria, typhoid, because those ones need physically you actually feel sick. You have a running temperature, you can't eat, and all of that. But when it comes to mental health, when it comes to at the state of our minds, the state of our hearts, the state of our thinking, and all of that, we just feel like, oh no, after all, nobody's seeing it. So it goes back to that hypocrisy. We've been talking about how we're groomed to be hypocritical. Nobody is seeing it. Oh, it's the one that is saying, the people are seeing that I should take care of. This one, my insides are a mess. Like, even though I'm looking all calm and everything, my insides, I'm constantly in a state of anxiety. I'm constantly lashing out at our children. And that is why our children bear the brunt of whatever it is that is going on with us. Our unhealed traumas, we get to throw them like a dump yard. We just pack them, and when we get home, we just throw everything on them. Can you see how cruel? Like, can you even picture it? And see, you have just been everything. You've just been trying to keep your cool. Be struggling with it. But how about we go on this journey where you actually start to sort it out? You don't have to lie to keep your cool. You don't have to lie. That it literally is you reframing, you thinking about things differently and choosing to do things differently, especially when it comes to your children. They are not a dump site. They are not a garbage truck for you to throw in all of your garbage. And we forget. We remember to say, oh, we're going to be asked about our salah. We're going to be asked about, our fasting. We're going to be asked about our zakah, our hajj, and everything. And we forget to mention that we're going to be asked about our children and how we raised them and what we poured into them. So can you see how all of this is all interrelated? So whenever it is you hear a child, an innocent child, who is crying because there's something wrong, and you're there screaming and saying, you are crying, what have I done to you that you are crying? In short, let me hit you very well so that violence. Is it till you stab someone in the chest? That's the only time you see violence. That's the only time it's called violence. Even those things are literally violence. And then we wonder why you hear that a man, abused his wife, and for some it leads to death. So for some it leads to, a fractured marriage, it leads to divorce and all of that. We wonder why that happened. We weren't taught how to sit down and actually address whatever problems you have in your life. Problem solving is a skill. It's something you have to teach children. That things will not always go your way. That people will come and they will hurt you. But it doesn't mean you should you should, just let it all out and just, go hurting people and harming people. But it is still not in you saying it to them, because when we start to preach like this to our children, in short, we'll take the Quran and quote a particular place and we will say, I interact with parents and it's very funny. So we're not teaching them the skills, but we're just making them feel guilty. And that is another thing that happened to us, where we find it so difficult to actually raise our hands and make dua to Allah. We feel like we're not good enough. We're not pious enough. We are not, there's just so much that's wrong with us. And that's because of the way we were brought up, because of the way we were made to feel like you had to be good enough. You had to be a particular way for your mom to love you. You had to have done something. It's the person who has the best results that is the most preferred child in the house. That's the trophy child in the house. That's the one, everybody loves. That's the best child in the house. And so we take that, because see, the children, they see God through your eyes. Honestly, Like the way they see Allah is through the eyes of the parents, through the way you project your own your relationship with them. They extrapolate. I don't know if you we did, those of us that did I don't graph, I can't even remember what we did, but I remember that word extrapolation from graphs, and they were able to extrapolate it to God and say, okay, if my parents feel this way about me, that means that's how Allah feels about me. But really, is that what Allah Ar-Rahman says? Is that who is Al-Tawwab? He who is Al-Ghafur, Al-Ghaffar, the most forgiving. He says you can come, you keep coming to me over and over and over and over, and I'll continue to forgive you. But that's not the message we put forth to our children. We tell them, oh, the moment you do something, you move away from the normal, from what it is that I expect of you. Yet you're not even teaching them how to be that way. So we could go on and on and on. But this is my invitation to you to actually sit. Let us start to work on these things and sit down and create a plan according to your own lifestyle, according to where you are right now, according to what your relationship is with your child right now. And we hope, because I do nothing without asking from help from Allah. And we hope that with the help of Allah, we're going to move from here to there. It's not something that happens overnight, but at least you will find that there are better ways to handle this all of these challenges that you're facing. There are better ways to handle it. If the only thing you're even going to live with is reframing, being able to reframe when things happen to you, being able to reframe, being able to give it a different meaning, being able to reframe and give it a different and look at it from a different perspective, that in itself is golden. Because did Allah say that He will not test us? He said that He will test us. Do we say because we believe He will not test us, He will let us be? That He will test us. Yes, how are we reacting to those tests? Are we reacting or we responding appropriately? And I leave you with these questions like, come your way tomorrow again. I'll check for the topic we'll be handling tomorrow. But yes, it's just another fresh topic. 20 minutes. Okay, it's almost 30 minutes. Yes, but basically just helping you to understand where it is you are today in your discipline, framework, theory, everything, whatever it is you're doing at home, and to see what it is that you can let go of and see what you can learn. And let's start to do things differently. So till I come your way again tomorrow, take care of yourselves and love to my boys. You know I love them. All right. Bye.